I can't lie, with 20 minutes left and 2-0 down, I was ready to flip and rant the holy crap out of this video, and Conte in particular, and I'm still not happy with him at all, but somehow we managed to turn being 2-0 down into a 3-2 win. And guess how? By changing to 4 at the back and bringing Giroud on. I mean, who would have thought that? But, and some people might think I'm crazy after turning a game from 2-0 to 3-2, to winning it 3-2, but I still think Conte has to go now. Hello there guys and welcome back to 100% Chelsea for my review of the Southampton versus Chelsea game. And we won the game 3-2. I don't really know how, but we did. But let's get straight into it and starting it off with the lineup. It was Thibaut Courtois in goal, Cesar Azpilicueta, Andreas Christensen and Gary Cahill as the back three, with Alonso and Davides Zappacosta as the two wing-backs and N'Golo Kante and Cesc Fabregas as the two central midfielders, with Eden Hazard and Willian on the wings, with Alvaro Morata starting up front. Rudiger didn't even make the bench. I don't know how. As for now, I have no idea why he wasn't involved. Like, there is obviously the conspiracy, theory going on that he was dropped full stop, following his slightly critical comment after the West Ham game. But I'm not going to just throw Conte under the bus for that and take that as a given. Maybe Rudiger is slightly injured or ill. I don't know what happened. I don't know. But it is a bit dubious in my opinion. But getting into the game started off with exactly what you've come to expect from Chelsea. Backheel flicks by Willian and especially Hazard, they more often than not just don't find a teammate, like not even close most of the time. And honestly, the first 20 minutes were so boring and uneventful. 90% of the game took place in the central third. We had more of the ball, but except for two half chances, one block shot by Hazard and the Willian crossed free kick from distance that was a bit tricky for the keeper, neither team did anything close to dangerous in the first 20 minutes. But then to stop the game from being boring and uneventful, Southampton made it 1-0 in the 21st minute. Southampton hit us on the counter, played the ball to Ryan Bertrand down the left wing, but Azpilicueta couldn't keep up with him. Not quite sure where Zappacosta was, that's kind of his position. It was too central and pushed up quite high, possibly because, it followed our attack. It was a counter-attack, like I said. Bertrand then ran around Azpilicueta, and as he entered the box, he cut it back to Dusan Tadic, who came running into the box, not picked up by any Chelsea player, no midfielder, and no defender, nowhere near him, and he just tapped it in from 12 yards or so. Poor defending by Azpilicueta, by no idea where Zappacosta was, by no one picking up Tadic. But also I have to say very well done to Ryan Bertrand because, former Chelsea player, he just did really well there. Another one of those players that we let go when we shouldn't have. And after that goal, Southampton took complete control of the game for a good 10 minutes. We couldn't keep the ball, couldn't complete any forward passes, and the defending looked all over the shop. And the next actual chance fell to Southampton yet again, when they forced a Courtois double save in the 38th minute. First the shot by Ward-Prowse from outside the box, and then the save by Courtois fell to Tadic inside the box, whose shot again Courtois had to save, but Tadic was actually called offside anyway. And that was then half-time at 1-0, and it was an awful half, disgraceful. We're playing against a team in the bottom three and didn't have a single shot on target in the whole of the first half, while having most of the ball, while having almost 60% of the ball. Southampton only had one or two dangerous moments themselves, but when you don't create anything, and I mean anything, well, you shouldn't be surprised to be in a losing position, should you? And of course there were no changes at half-time, but the first thing that did happen in the second half was us creating a decent almost moment, a good shooting opportunity for Fabregas at the edge of the box, but he decided to pass it instead and passed it straight to an opponent, really, so that was great. Then Southampton hit us on the counter yet again. Christensen and Cahill were stood up very high on the pitch, like a good 10 yards ahead of the halfway line. And Long, Shane Long, was still in his own half when the long ball to him was played. He steamed past our defenders, took the ball down very well, and then I thought Christensen literally just wrestled him to the floor. The ref didn't blow his whistle, don't know how, but he didn't. Long carried on, got up, had a shot, but actually slipped while shooting and actually hit the shot with his left foot against his planted right foot, and that almost turned it into a chip. And then Courtois actually made a really, really good save to keep that ball from dropping into the goal, basically over him and behind him. So he did well there. No idea how Christensen didn't give away a foul. I'm not sure whether it was inside or outside the box. If it is, outside the box, it's definitely a red card. I thought it was a foul. I think we got away with one there. But it didn't really matter because after 60 minutes, Southampton made it 2-0 anyway. So, that was good. From a free kick, out by the touchline, at least 40 yards from goal. The free kick was crossed in towards the far post to their debutant Bednarek from Poland. No, not sure how exactly to pronounce his name. Who was completely by himself and netted him with a very, very decent first-time volley finish into the far corner. Fair play to him for that. But the defending again was just awful. Cahill was the only one that actually ran along with him. No one else followed him, like he was just by himself. But Kale wasn't the only one that played him on side, please don't get that wrong. So it was just awful, like no idea where anyone was. How can he have so much space from a free kick? Like what are we doing? Right after we went 2-0 down, we took off Morata and Zappacosta for Olivier Giroud and Pedro, which made us change to a 4-4-2 or 4-4-1-1 formation, whichever way you want to call it really. And then with 69 minutes played, we actually got one back. I didn't think that was possible in that game at that stage. I really didn't. And it kind of did come out of nowhere because we got a free kick right in the centre of the park. Fabregas played it out to Alonso, who actually put in a very, very good cross. And Giroud did incredibly well to get ahead of his opponent, to get to the end of the ball, and got off a great header from a good 14, 15 yards maybe, and buried it right into the bottom left corner. That was a very good header, and that's just what you get from Giroud. When he's on it, he can score your goals like that. Okay, Morata is good in the air, but he's not strong enough. He wouldn't have been strong enough to get that. And that was actually Olivier Giroud's first goal for Chelsea in the league and his second for Chelsea overall. And after that, we finally actually put Southampton under some pressure. They started to sit very deep, made spaces even tighter, but they struggled to get the ball out of their half. And from that, just 5 minutes after getting a goal back, Hazard makes it 2-0. Willian did very well on the left flank, went past the defender and put in a very good back-cutting cross to Hazard, pretty centrally inside the box with way too much space. He controlled the ball well and then made sure to get the ball off the ground to get it over the defenders and the keeper, who obviously tried to slide in and block the shot. And he buried it really well with his left foot, just in the middle of the goal, really. And then I honestly lost it. Only another 4 minutes later, in the 79th minute, Olivier Giroud scores again to make it 3-2. A free kick by Willian around 25 yards from goal, played short to Hazard on the left wing actually, who put in a cross that was actually won by a Southampton player, flew across the box, followed by another Southampton player's header, and then the ball fell right to Olivier Giroud around 16 yards from goal. So he took it first time and finished it perfectly into the bottom right corner. And what an impact he and the change to the formation had to our game. Not even that Giroud played so well outside of scoring, but he kind of brought a new motivation, is what it looked like. He kind of brought some new energy on that pitch. And the new formation just gave us more men going forward to actually keep Southampton locked in their own half. But not to worry, it's Antonio Conte we're talking about at the end of the day. So forward at the back is like a disease kind of, we don't like it. So in the 68th minute, he then took Eden Hazard off for Victor Moses to go straight back to the 3-4-3. A formation that hasn't worked for months. We were humiliated with in this game up until basically we changed formation. And the second, the change happens, Southampton put pressure on us again and we could barely deal with it. And honestly, I find that ridiculous. And actually, Southampton had a good chance to equalise in the 90th minute, but Courtois did well to save the shot and keep our lead intact. And that was then full time at 3-2. And I am very, very happy that we managed to turn the game around. I really am. But until we went 2-0 down, this was a ridiculously awful game. Like, it was so bad, sitting way too deep at 0-0 already, changing nothing when we go a goal down. To remember, a team that is in the bottom three. Like, what are we doing? That have only won 5 games all season. Conte just sitting down the sideline looking like, well, thinking about what he's going to have for dinner or something. Like, he didn't look involved in the game at all. Like, not even bothered. And like, I don't like it at all. Then to be fair to Conte, he actually did change things around when we went 2-0 down. And it helped us turn the game around. But then he goes back to 3-4-3 and we are immediately under loads of pressure again. And I've said for a while that Conte has to go in the summer. But sacking him now wouldn't be smart because the payout will cost us a lot more. But sorry, he has to go right now in my opinion. Bring in Jody Morris until the end of the season. Don't even think about Gus Hiddink. Bring in Jody Morris. That's what I would do anyway. Because we won today, obviously Conte isn't going to get sacked tomorrow or something. But in my opinion, it's still best right now. We've been terrible for months. Conte sticks to players that are playing awfully badly every week basically. But has issues with players that actually play well in Diego Costa, David Luiz, and God knows what's going on with Rudiger. We'll have to wait and see whether he features against Burnley or against Southampton on the weekend, or maybe they will tell us he's injured, but then we still won't know whether that's actually true or not. Because there's always these conspiracy theories out there that he's not injured, same with David Luiz, and we just don't know. And it just doesn't make sense. Like, you keep playing the likes of Moses, the likes of Alonso, they keep not performing, the likes of Cahill. In the middle, I kind of get it because half the time he's injured, and Bakayoko, whenever he has played, it was awful. But Fabregas isn't doing anything either. His passes don't come off, and he is just too slow, like I said in my preview. It just doesn't make sense. If after this, he's ready to say, let's go forward the back, fine. Stay until the end of the season. But like this, I think he has to go now. I will, of course, support him and the team until the end of the season, no matter what, because, I love the team. It's not about who actually is in charge. But it's just frustrating. Like, you can't keep doing that. Like, I was kind of already calmed down when we turned it around. Of course, we turned it 2-0 down to 3-2 win. But then he changes back to 3-4-3, and that made me furious again. And, maybe this comeback will give us some sort of motivation, good spirits, and we can keep, a good form going until the end of the season. But as good as the comeback was, We were playing Southampton. Again, a team in the bottom three that have only won 5 games all season. We didn't turn being 2-0 down into a 3-2 win against Man City like Man United did last week. It was only Southampton, with all due respect. But until we changed formation, every single player except N'Golo Kante was awful. Absolutely awful. And things can't go on like this. But now it's on to Burnley on Thursday. Then a game that actually matters. The FA Cup semi-final against, Southampton. Again. But I don't really know what else to say. So leave me all of your thoughts down in the comment section below. What do you make of the game? Do you think it was mostly down to Giroud coming on? Do you think it was mostly down to, change of formation? Or was it just a general thing that, the team realised now we can't be losing 2-0 at Southampton? Was it that? Let me know what you think was the main reason for that comeback. And also, do you think Conte should go now? Or do you think he should go at the end of the season? Or do you still think he should stay and get another chance next season with maybe more players that he actually wants? Maybe more of his first choice players? Could we even get those? I don't know. Not being in Champions League, highly doubt it. But anyway, leave me all of your thoughts down in the comment section below. Like I said, leave a like if you have enjoyed this video. Do make sure you check out my social media, which is last1507 on both Instagram and Twitter. As you can see over here, I would massively appreciate it if you could follow me over there. And also, do make sure you subscribe to 100% Chelsea. We would massively appreciate that. And also, don't forget to click that notification bell button as well and choose to be notified about every single video. Because otherwise, you will barely know about any videos that we've actually, put out. And that's just frustrating for us. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Up to Chelsea. What a comeback. What a comeback. Let's keep it going until the end of the season. And I'll see you next time.